So let's see if we can do a kind of harder one using standard form. So we got 3x squared plus 12x minus 6. And I want to write in standard form, which again means I want to write it so I have something squared, probably a number or something outside of it. So again, I want to see if I can complete the square with this. So I'm going to rewrite it. So 3x squared plus 12x. And I'm going to keep the minus 6 outside of it. And I'm going to try to complete the square with this part. And if I complete the square, I got it to be something. I have to get it to be something squared, so I have to get it to be the exact same parentheses. And if I look at this right here, my first term wouldn't be the exact same. If I'm going to get stuff to multiply to give me 3, I can't get the exact same number easily. So I'm going to factor 3 out, so I only have an x squared there. Best way to start completing a square things is to just get an x squared as your first term. I'm only going to factor it out of the parentheses, so I'm going to keep my minus 6 and minus 6 on the outside. So let's see, now I should be able to complete the square. My first term would be x and x. Things that multiply to my blank space and add to my middle space, well, the same number that adds to 4 is 2 and 2. Positive 4, so positive 2 and positive 2. And they multiply to give me a plus 4. So again, if I'm adding a 4 here, I can't just add a 4. I'd also have to be able to take it away. So I'm adding nothing. But I'm not actually adding a 4 here, right? My 4 is inside of parentheses, meaning that 3 would get distributed. So 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm actually adding a 12 to this problem. So over here, I'm going to take away a 12. Okay, so this is a perfect square. X plus 2, whole thing squared. There's a 3 in front of it, so I'm going to keep the 3 in front of it. And minus 18. So we've actually already graphed this one in a previous problem, I believe, but we can go ahead and graph it again. We might not have. That was in lecture maybe and not on the videos, I'm not sure. But if I'm going to graph this, instead of starting at the origin, I'm going to move that left 2 and down 18. And instead of being a regular parabola, it is going to stretch vertically by 3. So for every one it goes up, it's going to go up 3. So it's going to be a lot narrower. I could find my intercepts if I wanted to, so I could go ahead and make sure that this graph looks okay. Find my intercepts. My y-intercept should still be pretty easy. I'm just subbing in a 4. I'm sorry, just subbing in a 0. If I sub in a 0 for my x, I'm going to get 4 times 3 is 12, minus 18 is negative 6. My graph is a little bit off. We'll say negative 6 is around there. And then, so again, I could get 3 times 0 plus 2 squared minus 18 would equal negative 6. And if I do subbing in 0 for y, I would get 3 times x plus 2 minus 18, that squared. Could solve for my x, add my 18 over. Divide by 3. Take square root of both sides. I'm going to end up with radicals. And so if I can still find them, but they're not going to help me graph as much unless I'm allowed to use a calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there because I already know I don't know the square root of 6. Okay, so that's a pretty okay sketch of my graph.